Hey there, Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising. It's Maggie. Welcome to Moon Directed, where we work with energy to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. Right before I turned on the channel, I was trying on the recording. I was getting into your energy, and I saw. So this is what I saw. I saw a guy with a tool belt. Like getting ready to do home repairs around the house, and there was a lot of different tools in the tool belt. There was a lot of things there, and then he walked over to his wife, and he took the hammer out and he held it and he spoke for a moment. Then he passed it to her, and he sat and he listened while she spoke, and it really looked like a talking stick. And so home repair around the house, a talking stick. I feel like communication with Mercury in retrograde, and Mercury rules your sign, is going to be a thing. Oh, you get two there. All right. It's going to be important that whatever is going on, that there is a need to talk, to speak your truth. But there's also going to be a need to allow the other person to speak their truth. And speaking truth is stuff that comes from the heart. It is really and truly how you feel about things. It's a willingness to share your share your intimate thoughts. Wow, you guys got so much happening here. Okay, you have a lot of cards happening in the present. So whatever is going on, it kind of seems like it needs immediate attention. So, but the overall energy is the opportunity to bring in the milk and the honey, the rainbow after the storm. So let's get into what's going on here. We do have an opportunity with that new moon happening in Aquarius on February 11th to really, where is that happening for you? That is happening for you in your 5th house of fun and romance. So, no, your 6th house of work-life balance. Excuse me, work-life balance. So, there's a need to bring something into balance. Let's get into it and see what's going on. So if you've never been to my channel before, welcome. I really appreciate you stopping by. I know you have a lot of options. What we do here with what's usually a 9-card spread, but clearly we're going to have a lot more than that going on today, is thoughts, feelings, actions, past, present, future. The key to the situation is in the heart center. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, in the area of the heart space, we have happy, but happy is in the reverse. Always trying to manage the light. There we go. It's in the reverse. If you look at it really closely, there is an egg. It's an opportunity. It has a keyhole. There's an opportunity to bring in the happiness into your heart space, but currently it's some kind of a struggle. But look where you're heading, and so it's a struggle worth engaging in, right? It's worth trying to figure it out. And so let's see what we get going on here. In the recent past, in the area of the thoughts of where you were seeking more information, you have not for you, and it's in the reverse. And not for you in the reverse says stop chasing what's running away, basically. And so there's been some questions about, is this worth it? Does this bring in the happiness that I desire, I deserve? I heard deserve. Is this really working for me? Now, this could be, because it came in the home space, as far as the repair that was going on, but because it's in the 6th house of work-life balance, because this reading actually is all about what's going on for the remainder of the sun sign season of Aquarius for you. So over the next 2 weeks. So that's work-life balance. So it could be that, something about work is creating issues at home. And really, maybe, is it worth it to you to work there? Might be the question. Is this something that benefits the family in general? And just because it was, a guy that was passing the talking stick to a female, this, gender is not the issue here. This is about connections around the home, and masculine energy is the action oriented, and the feminine energy is the receptive energy. And so there's a need to balance in the give and the take that's going on in a relationship so that you can manage it. Oh, wow. Okay, look. It is definitely about it could be work that's affecting the home. I just want to say, because work-life balance is also health. Oh, it's also health. Okay, so for some of you, this is a healthcare concern, but it feels very work-oriented. There's no place like home, and truth be told, in the area of how to transform the situation. This is about definitely fixating in on what is important to your home life to bring in the happiness. What part is not working that's not worth pushing that hard for? How can you make the adjustments so that you can feel like this is the land of milk and honey? When I come home, home is supposed to be sanctuary, right? Home is supposed to be where you are most free to be who you are and love all the parts of your life there. And so what can you do to bring that in? I'm sorry that I'm playing around with the cards. Don't know why, but they're really bothering me today. Okay, so here we go. Maybe it's just because all the pieces are not in the right place, and there's a need to do some adjusting. Okay, in the future, in the area of thoughts, you have the here and the now. Beautiful. By staying present in the moment, by not looking too far to the past. So if you are sitting there and you're having these conversations and you're speaking from the heart and you are being open and vulnerable, which is so brave and courageous for anybody to do, and you're working through problems, you have to stay in the here and the now. Once you've worked through the problems and you've come to agreements about what's moving forward, the way you do it is then you start from now and you move forward. If you're constantly revisiting, even in your mind, if not in conversation or when you get annoyed, or like, well, you always do this or that always happens, then you're not staying in the present. What has been going on right now? That's what matters. And so looking for opportunities to catch each other doing things right, doing things the way that you agreed upon when you sat down and you had that heart to heart. So staying in the very present, what's happening now, that's the best way to move a situation forward. Dwelling in the past over past transgressions, nobody can undo the past. You learn lessons from it, you grow, you forgive whenever possible, and I believe that eventually it's always possible. It's just sometimes there are things that are so egregious that you can't work it out, but that's not what I saw. And so whatever this is, I don't think it's so egregious it can't be worked through. And so forgiving and being willing to pay attention to what's happening now, not fixating on what happened before. I hate it when people say, oh, you should just forgive and forget and move on. No. I have a lot of planetary placements in Virgo, and I don't think, no, you forget what happened. You learn from it, you grow from it, you recognize it, and if it's not changing, then you're aware of it. You can't say, oh, well, all right, no, well, okay, but being aware of what's happening now, moving forward. So planting your seeds of intention this month, over the next couple of weeks, to really make the changes. And honestly, you can't change your partner, you can only change yourself. So you have to look at, am I triggering this relationship partner to do whatever? Now, it could be at business, it could be at work, but I don't think so, because we have the no place at home, and it doesn't feel like that, especially not when I saw what I saw. Okay, so we have exchanging gifts in the reverse. So again, there's this energy in the heart space of a feeling like I'm giving, but I'm not receiving in equal balance. And in that sixth house of balance, that work-life balance, balance in our life, balance, and you rule that house. And so with Virgo ruling the need for things to be in balance and working in the way that they seem just and fair, it becomes really important that you figure out how to have that in your relationship, right? I mean, it's important. I don't deny that at all. But you can't make somebody else give more. But what you maybe could do is pay attention to making a mental note when they are giving, because perhaps, this happens sometimes, we don't recognize all the ways they are giving. And so they feel like, well, you just don't see what I'm doing, and I am helping, and I am doing these things, and I'm trying over here. And just because I don't get it right or to your exact standards, it's not fair to say I'm not trying, because I am trying. And so taking a step back and going, okay, I am going to commit to paying attention to the effort and appreciating it and showing gratitude inside of me, but also verbally expressing that, so that my partner recognizes that I see they're trying harder. And when someone recognizes that you are putting an effort in, it makes you want to do more. But when you're not being recognized for it, you're like, well, what's the point? So that verbal confirmation of recognition of effort and energy, and even if it's not perfect, it's okay. My son would be like, he wouldn't put the dishes in the dishwasher. And I'm like, dude, it's not that hard. Just put the dishes in the dishwasher. And he's like, yeah, but you always go in and you move things around. And so I don't think I do it right. And I said, if you were paying attention, you would see that I go in and I move the stuff that I put in there around too, because how everything fits when you first put it in, but as you add more things, you got to move things around. And so we had to have this conversation. He was like, oh, because he was taking it very personally, like I didn't think he was doing a good job. No, that's not it. It's just I'm trying to squeeze in more things than that's maybe possible or a good idea. And so then he started using, putting his dishes in the dishwasher, because I'm like, I'd rather take a couple minutes and readjust than have the dishes piling up in the sink with skunky water, right? So it's like taking the time to talk about why are you and what can we do and how do we do this different, and then saying, oh, and so then I made a point of, hey, thanks so much for putting your dishes in the dishwasher, recognizing it. Okay, so in the heart space, we have a new life, and it's in the reverse. And so that means this is going to take time, but it's there. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. This means that your ability, you can turn things around. Can't do anything about the past. It is only the present where we make changes that affect the future. And by staying in the here and now, having these heart-to-hearts, this is where you start to see that you can turn things around and bring in the joy and the beauty. But it's going to take effort on everyone's side. Okay, in the recent past, we have round and round. This tells me these are, this is in the area of obstacles. And so this is like constantly having the same conversation over and over again and not feeling like it's going anywhere. But could it be that both parties were not taking the time to listen? So often, when I see a talking stick show up in a vision for me, it is like they're saying, are you sitting there waiting? Maybe you don't interrupt, but maybe you're just waiting for your chance to say what you want to say, instead of actually listening to what they're saying and taking that pause after they're done to think about what they said and see if you need to seek clarification on something. Because being, God. Okay, so this is what they just said. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I think in the heart space, you want to be happy. Oh, this is beautiful. So, we have a change in the wind. We have by the book. And we have go the distance. By changing how you do things, by being fair and equitable to all parties, by working together as a team, pulling together, this relationship can go the distance. In the outcome we have between worlds, it's in the reverse. When I see between worlds in the reverse, I often feel like that means that there's a delay before you move from one part to the next. But I am going to double check, because that is what I'm feeling here. But sometimes it says, be mindful of your expectations. This is not a time for guarantees. Things will not go exactly as you plan or dictate. Let go and see what Spirit has in store. What takes hold in your life will be better than you can imagine. And so whether or not things end up working out, although it really looks like there's a real possibility of that, it's going to take some time. Changing habits takes time. And so having grace for the situation, understanding that, someone might be really like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make this change. And they might do it 2 or 3 times and then they backslide. Instead of going, see, I knew you couldn't do it. You go, I really appreciate how much you've been trying. And it really, it means a lot to me. And instead, just say it in that way. Don't point out where they didn't do it. And see what happens with that. So you have here, trust in the higher forces and set your sight higher. Although I gotta say, even though he's holding a telescope because it's stargazer, it looked like a talking stick to me. Set your sights higher. What is it that you're actually trying to accomplish here? You're trying to accomplish that feeling of happiness, and it may or may not be that you can find it where you are. But I think most of us can agree that it's great when you feel like, okay, but I actually did everything I could, and now I know it's safe to walk away. But I feel like this, when I see go the distance there, I feel like there's so much opportunity for this to really work. I think there just needs to be patience and lovingly speaking your truth, and also being aware that you could be doing things that are equally annoying to your partner. And be open and willing to make those changes also. Well, this is interesting. You have blaze your own trail originality. Just because things were always done a certain way, maybe by your parents or the people around you, your way of doing things that as you guys compromise and work together to move forward doesn't have to be like it's always been, and it doesn't have to be like your parents did it or your friends do it, or however, whatever this is that brings the balance in, be willing to think outside of the box a little, to think about how can we resolve this so that everybody wins, so that we elevate. Okay, well, I guess we're taking those 2 cards. Yep, that was it. I'm going to pull all of these because they were really catching my attention. So we have Swan. Magic realms are opening. New cycles of opportunity. When I see round and round, there's definitely an opportunity there. And you have secret and noble guardianship, the crane. And the cranes mate for life. Secret and noble guardianship. You have protection and resurrection. See, I'm telling you, this thing could go. New rhythm is developing. I think it's just allowing space for things to be like the little engine that could, where, it's, I think I can. And before it picks up speed. And when things are not perfect from the get-go, and they're not going to be. Because it takes time to break habits and create new ones, right? So having a little patience for the process. So protection and resurrection means I feel like you're being divinely guided and protected to resurrect the situation. This is it's not happening overnight though. And we have, be careful of the choices you make. So don't rush to make a big choice or decision without exploring all of the options of, by the book to stay in a committed situation. I don't know why you ended up with this marriage reading. And so Virgos, if you're still listening and you're like, this is not my story, because this feels very specific, check out your sun, your moon, and your rising. All 3 every month, because the sun sign, that is the core of how you feel. That's your value system. Your rising sign has a lot to do with what's going on with the planets and how it sets up the houses, and it has to do with how things are moving around. And the moon sign is how you feel. So this may or may not resonate for you, but if you check out those other ones, you might find the messages that do resonate for you. I find at different times of the year, different aspects really resonate for me personally. Mostly I resonate with my rising sign. But once we get past, my rising sign is a Capricorn. As we start coming down toward my sun sign, which is in Cancer, I find we cross over the moon in Pisces. That's my moon's in Pisces. And then I find that it kind of the Pisces start to resonate. And then I move toward the Cancer sign and it starts to resonate. But the majority of the year, it's my rising sign. And I just pay attention to what makes sense with what's going on in my life. So you have awakened your empathy, Turquoise. You are being asked to try to see things using the talking stick. You can literally do this with a pencil. Using the talking stick to listen with your heart space, with all of your senses to what is being spoken verbally and non-verbally from your partner. You can do this at any situation, but this feels like it's around the house. It could be your children. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's your partnership. There's a need to listen with all your senses and be open to making adjustments and changes, because this feels like it's something worth fighting for. So set your sights higher, trust in the higher power, focus down the road a little on the goal, but stay in the present as you're solving your way through it. All right? You guys take good care. I will be back next week. I'm going to do on Mondays, there will be the moon astrology for the week will come out. But then throughout the week, there will be videos coming out. We're going to talk about healing the divine masculine and feminine in each of us. We have both parts. And as we work toward healing that, then we can really attract in or improve our current relationships, because we're working from a higher vibrational healed energy. So come and join me for that. You guys take good care, and we'll chat soon.